Pamberi Zanu-PF. Ne Zanu-PF. Pamberi lokubambana. Lokubambana. Pasi nevasingadi kubatana nevanhu. The Secretary for Women's Affairs, my Dr. Grace Mugabe, Vice President and Second Secretary of Zanu-PF, Comrade Emerson Mnangagwa Namai Mnangagwa, Vice President and Second Secretary of Zanu-PF, Comrade Pelekezela Mboko, the Women's League National Assembly members here present, the National Executive Council members of the Women's League, our Politburo and Central Committee members here present, Comrade Chombo, who is our Secretary for Administration, and Comrade Kasikuere, who also is our Commissar. We have also Comrade Chipanga representing the Youth Affairs, who is here. Other members are mingled amongst you who belong to the party and to the Politburo. I recognize them all, and the Women's League provincial members, ladies and gentlemen, comrades and friends. I am here I was to also have been in Botswana. 2 invitations. I had to decide. In fact, we also debated it. The issue of where I should go. Mugabe, and I finally said to myself, Botswana hongu kushamari tinwe ukama nabo asikumsangano wemadzimai akusi kukama ndekwana mai azvichizokutamba nekuti munhu woga woga, you and me, inani mborega kuzvifunga zuva nezuva izvozvo kuti ndiri mwana wamai, nyangwe vamai vasisipo ndinovafunga. Ndimi vatinenge tichifunga izvozvo vana mai. And so when the choice is to be made of that nature. Well, it certainly is an easy choice. The one is to please friends, to try and remain in good terms with your neighbors, which you can always do tomorrow and tomorrow. But the other is, in fact, to be with those who are our mothers. And to hear what they have to say. They have a lot to say about the party. They don't think of the party just as an organization of which they are members, and therefore a party which caters for them. They think of the party in a much greater way. That is here, they and their children. Must be catered for. Here and their children must belong. Those who were born yesterday will be born today and will be born tomorrow. Born, I am saying. Kwete apinda munyika vachingobva kumwe. Born. And when you say born, you're thinking of the mothers. They think of their children, the interests of their children. So that is your importance, which overrides the importance of friends. So I to come to listen to you in the same way I've listened to you before. To listen to you, our womb bearers. Because we men alone can be useless on this world. We need you in as much as you need us. So I wish to express my happiness, my pleasure at your invitation. Your invitation was extended to me to be with you at this meeting. Because of your dedication to our party, you, in your belief in this party and belonging to the wing of the party, have come from the length and breadth of Zimbabwe to discuss issues and developments affecting not just you alone, but affecting us together. And us does not mean just us here. Us and those outside. And those outside, not just members of the party, but us, the people who constitute the nation of Zimbabwe. You are the custodians being both the party and the government of the interests of those people, of the people together. You are their defenders, because it is from amongst you that we must defend our interests. We are in government, defend and protect our heritage, defend our natural resources, defend our well-being, and say to outsiders, no interference with our domestic affairs. Zimbabwe ndeyedu. More than that, ndeyeropa. Ndeyedu zvinorevei? Zvingoreva kuti ndeyedu ichingova nyika chete inonzi Zimbabwe, inoreva Zimbabwe noupfumi hwayo hwese, hwese upfumi hwayo hwese, hwezvinomera, zvicherwa nezvichacherwa, nzizi dzine mvura nemvura yacho, dzisina mvura, zvose zviri munzizi, crocodiles, fish, hippos, other species like even lizards. The lesser species. Zvese zvimwe zvinoturumawo isu masvosheni ndezvedu, so takapiwa izvose zvakangodaro kana nezvura chinotauka chichitauka uchiko chabva nepi ichi chiri kupinda nepamba apa ungoona chapinda. Ndo zvazviri, ndo nyika yatinayo ine zvose zvinocherechedzwa zvose zveupenyu zvakadaro izvo zvakasikwa naMwari. Ndonyika iyoyo yatiri kudzivirira tose, makomo edu imwe michero yatinayo tinotenda. Timire tose kana manzwa vamunangagwa vachitaura kusadharara kwatakaraita kuti chauya ngachiuye, nyika ino hatibve mairi, hatideyo kukurirwa nomuvengi, tinofira muno muZimbabwe. Havangu vava Mugabe vanongova nemasimba avo voga, ndava Mugabe vanenge vachiti vane vanhu vavo vanotendera vachigutsikana kuti nyika ndedu, vachisadharara pamwe chete navo, vachisarudza kuifira, vakatoifira. Ndo shungu idzodzo dzinoita kuti vati this is my country. This is your country. It's our country together. Tikava nenjere idzodzo dzokuti ndo nyika yedu iyi yakafirwa, yatinosarudza kufira, yatakamirira ine vanhu vakashinga, ine macomrades vari kuhiroseka, tinavo vanana vangomo, vanana vamuzinda, vanana vamusika, tinavo vazhinji. Gomo riye razara nevanhu vedu. Izvozvo ndo zvinotipa simba, zvinotipa pfungwa, zvinotipa kuzvipira kuti hayi handingakumbwe nyika yayedu. Shure ukukuma dzibaba chimurenga chechiposha sana mbuya nehanda, kune ropa rakadeuka, ndo pane mutsauko ungave wedu nedzimwe nyika dzemuAfrica, kusiya shoma dzakarwawo chimuringa chakaita sechedu. Saka ukukumbana katakaitau. It's building ourselves into a structure we have decided to name Zanu-PF, so as to make it the core of our unity, the core around which we unite ourselves. And as we unite ourselves, naturally, we strengthen ourselves. We strengthen ourselves by creating some segments as more important segments to ensure greater unity all the time. The Women's League is that segment. The Youth League is that segment. You may have other associations, but these are the two we have chosen to be the segments we need for our viability. Aside and around the main body of our party. And the Women's League remains a pillar of our party that provides it with crucial stability. It is the nuts and bolts that keep the party together. It is both the mobilizing machinery mechanism that ensures the party keeps growing in numbers, and the heart and soul of that party which makes it continue beating and functioning. Tikabushaya mayuth anotkowana mayu kupi. The Secretary for Women's Affairs, Mugabe, has earlier on referred to some of the measures taken and are being taken by government to improve the conditions of women, mainly through empowerment policy. We are aware there is very much we need to do to improve your conditions, to improve even your status in the party and in government. Government has since independence, as you know, adopted various policies and programs and even legislative measures, all aimed at improving the position of our women in the country. It may appear as if very little has been done, but the starting point was far, far away. because the women were far, far away from centers of power, far, far away from the interests that needed to be served for them to be able to participate alongside men in the development of the country. And we had to address all that. Customs also had to be addressed, not necessarily always by way of legislation, but by way of talking to our chiefs and headmen. Once upon a time, as you know, perhaps you don't know, but at least you have been told. The girl child was not to be educated very much. Let her go to school, yes. If she goes too high, the parents said, one, she'll get married, and custom says, once married, you are no longer with the parents, you go and stay with the husband's parents, that's where your home will be. So I don't benefit anything. Yes, I may get cattle at the first instance of Amaloboro, Ruparora, but that's about all. But all that she will get, if she's educated, she will be working as a teacher, as a secretary, or as a nurse. We can't educate her for others. That was one. Two, you educate her, she becomes too clever. Anaenda kumadhorobha atizomona. Unohamba unzenza ari mumadhorobha, ndizvo zvaifungwa nevakuru kareko. Saka kufundisa mwanasikana uri kufundisira vamwe kana uri kufundisira kuti azova neupenzi. And izvi zvakatitorera nguva. By demonstrating, vanakomana vakanga vafunda vachida kuti handredzi dzavo dzifunde, kutaura nana baba kuti kwete, vachakubatsirai vana ivava kana vafunda. Ndo kudzikira kwakakaita mwanasikana mumba pafamily level. Asi pafamily level ipapo vanakomana ndo vaikwidziriswa netsika yedu zvakare yekuti vanakomana ndo vanogara nhakadzana baba. Tsika inonge ichiripo nanhasi wese. Tsika yakapa hukuru even to a boy child who might have been younger to the girl child. Kuti ave ndiye mukuru anotonga, baba akambofa, iye baba ana baba mudiki, baba mukuru kana achiripo, ndo vanonzi vanoongorora zvomupaya vatarasikirwa navo. Kana mai vakutoti ndiwe wababa anotichengeta, kunyange apa ine mwanasikana mukuru. Zvino iyo itsika, well, yes, it had to be fought through education, quite silently, but also later on in legislation. And when we started, you know what we did. All children, girls or boys, must go to school. Parents, all your children must go to school. And unfortunately at that time, there was an awareness, greater awareness, not in all places, but in the majority of places, that educating a girl child was not a hopeless affair. So, they must go to school. We adopted that policy of education for them. And the parents were ready to build schools. They built the schools, primary, but mainly, and these were more needed, immediately needed than the others, the secondary ones. They built them. Burnt bricks. Government gave them, we gave them only $10,000 at the time. To pay school built. Just 10,000, perhaps, to help them with the roofing of the school. And of course, government was to pay the teachers. So there you are. That was a route now created for the girl child to come up educationally, intellectually, alongside the boy child. The legal aspect. at law, as I said, if there was a case affecting a sister, say it was a divorce case, we went to civil court. And the woman had to be represented. Kana basina baba mdiki. Mwana mkomana mkulu mbayo mthatsi wawe ndiye wenye mvumo yekuita represent anasisi wakuru kwaari. Mudzimai oga akanga asingabvumirwe kuti amire kuti asina mukuru wauya naye, angave sezvangataura vanababa kana pasina baba mudiki, mwana wake chaiye. Kuti zvese izvozvo zvakagadziriswa, madzimai vanogona kuzvimirira makoti. Kwozoti kusiyaniswa nokuti uri mudzimai kwemari yaunotambiswa. I think the women were given 2/3 of what men got, and the men got 2/3 of what the white men got. Even the white woman did not get what the white man was paid. She was paid less. So we abolished that. Equal pay for equal work. You were working, doing the same work, so you get the same payment. So we're to start that far. But we are today at a stage which is a long distance away from when we began, and a much longer distance still from the times of colonial and settler governments. And our policies, therefore, must reflect improvements that have taken place over that time. the transformation that has happened over that time. Of course, over that time, the women also have demonstrated that what men can do, they also can do. Or as is in the film, perhaps you have not seen it, it's used to show in our days at school, at college, the film called "And Get Your Gun." And get your gun. And there it's all the time. What a man can do, I can do better. If you can shoot, I can shoot better than you. If we can do this, I can do better than he. In that film, and get your gun. Whatever man can do, a woman can do better. And that's the case. You may say it's an exaggeration. It doesn't mean that is always true. It is quite often true. But in our system of government, referring to some of the ills we have had, including corruption, nepotism, and so on. Yes, there have been offenses on both sides. But those by men, corruption. I don't know what we should do. If we appoint a person in circumstances in which the job we have given him or we have given him, the man I'm talking about, enables him to have access to funds, direct or indirect, sooner or later, in the majority of cases, you get to hear of funds being swindled, of funds having disappeared somehow. Tsakawanda nyaya dzorudzirwo. They are less so amongst women than amongst men. I'm glad that within the party, at least at the level of the Central Committee, there has been some improvement in regard to representation of the women. We need to improve the position in regard to the Politburo. And that is also reflected in our cabinet. I think we have about 4 so ladies in a cabinet of over 20. But on the women's side, and what you should do to help yourselves and also help us is to ensure that those of you who get more and more highly educated participate in politics. Atingonobvuta vanhu tichinokuti uyu wakafunda naizvozvo tomutora kuti tienzane, madzimai vaenzane nevarume. Ayo tinenge tomuvheneka katitsviti abva nokupi, ane imemba yepati here, akavhoterwa akakamboenda branch mudistrict muprovince mepati here. Zvino kana asina kuvhoterwa nevanhu zvishoma kuti tinokakatana nemunhu kunze uku tomuya tomuti chu pana iwewe tinoda kuti uve minister welabor kana zvii. Akakanganisa basa ana momuda kumupfuura anoti aiwa ndiregei handinombokumbirei. Takambozviitwa nevanhurume. Vanhurume tati ngaimbotoraiwo kutora vakati aiwa atidi. Mumwe akati pocho achitiza achienda kuBotswana. Kana kumbotiudza kuti haachada, kana kumboti goodbye kunani, and pocho wotya kuti ndikabuda ndikagara munyika yemuno dzimwe nguva vanhu vachandisunga. Aiwa tingagokusunge kana usisadi. Well, we acknowledge the numerical superiority of women over in strength, in its importance, of the Women's League over other echelons. Yes, we have our youth. The youth are there to do quite a lot of service for the party, organizes the party. But still they must defer also to their mothers. But we know that women are now 52% of the population. And that is a phenomenon which must be taken care of. That's very important for the party, it's very important for our elections. Failure to recognize that phenomenon is actually getting the party, as it were, to be on a precipice, pamateru, yakuteremuka, kukunguruka, inenge isisina mtsiko. Now, it may be said that there is some resistance to having women in decision-making positions, particularly in public institutions. But as I say, let's have our women who are qualified. I'm glad that in some public institutions, even in government, the departments of government, the numbers are pleasing, and they continue to grow. Anyway, you can help us in that. It should be a policy on your part to ensure that those of your girl children who get educated not only get jobs, but also join the party and not stand aloof and become critics of the party. We need them, the girl children with degrees. We need them in government, we need them in the party, we need them outside government, in the private institutions. Otherwise, the balance of 52 women, that is, and 48 men, that is 52% women and 48% men in our population now, will not be reflected. However, we can start by aiming at 50-50. Some countries have tried to reach that in a deliberate way of amending their law to say this percentage of the membership of parliament must be women. And they've got to look for women to have that percentage. But so far we've maintained the position that for people to come to parliament, let them first want to come to parliament, to have the desire to be members of parliament, to have the desire to have been in the party. But we nevertheless are prepared to examine the 50-50 principle, gender representation, although if it were achieved, in a natural way, that would be far better than achieving it by way of just nominating so and so, so and so, so and so come until you get 50%. But let's bear in mind that the population has got that number now. And the sooner we go about reforming whatever systems offer restrictions to the women, the better. We are a mass party. And a mass party answerable to the people who have put their trust in us. And so we cannot ignore that. And our people, by overwhelmingly voting us into power, show and demonstrate that the masses will have given us the mandate to represent them and to have their interests taken care of. One of which is that of the women. But we will examine whatever recommendations you have made and see whether at the next conference, in preparation for the Congress, we can talk about. But for now, there's nothing that should exclude women from joining certain economic sectors. Women can go into mining, into construction, tourism, manufacturing, transport, and women should have land. But there, we are talking of women who may not have husbands, but if they are married, land comes to husband and wife. But they are widows. Lots of widows nowadays. I don't know whether it's the men finding fault with the women and seeking divorce, or the women finding fault with the men and seeking divorce. Zanyanya, my divorce is zanyanya. It doesn't make, for the togetherness even of families, let alone of Zimbabwe as a stable, as a country with social stability, because social stability comes from family stability. Kurambana kwanyanya mungadudzo here kuti sei kana muine ruzivo. Tinenge tichida kuti vanhu vasarudzana, vanogarisana. Ma-problems angavepo apa nepapapa. But that's why we recommend that there should be wise assistance from within the family. I suppose in the majority of cases, we men are responsible. Too many small houses, far too many. Far too many. In other cases, it's just the fact of prestige. Yokuti, you only have one? I have two. Dingati, it's happening amongst our educated people more often than the uneducated ones. No, I would be wrong, completely wrong. Nokuti kumamisha I suppose because kuma growth point vanongosangana, they are girls with nothing to do, vongodanana, nasikana, don't mind kuti uyo murume uyu ane mukadzi wake kare, ngoti chero taroorwa ndiwanewo waningati husband. Izvozvo zvingandigutse. I have pamba pakutama pai vakomana vangu vanoshanda kuti ndicheketera huku nenguruve. Vatatu ndichivabvunza vose mumwe nemumwe vatova nevakadzi vaviri kuti naivo vanorima foika kumwiri kwamanyana kuti imari yefoika here. Handizvoba kunyange vasingarime foika. Vasikana vakawanda vasina varume so it's a social problem, very serious one. At the end of the day, first, the women will not want to stay together. Vanoda kuti wawibage havadi kuonana. And what it means is that the children will stay apart in the majority of cases. It's in very rare cases, and depending on the parents, where you can get children belonging to different mothers working together and calling each other brother and sister. Very rare. And that one is actually worse now than it was in the past. And michato yacho haisi michato yekuenda kuchechi ayo kana kuenda kwanzviti ayo kungotora ungonoroora wavisa mombe unogara naye pamba watova mukadzi wako. There is no legal bond actually in most of them. But perhaps a legal bond existed in the first marriage. Saka vanongoenda zvavo havanei nekuti hazvibvumirwe nomurau. Anyway, well. Back to the business of our meeting. You have come in this very serious manner, as demonstrated by you, the few of you who made some statements, and your secretary. And you have emphasized this aspect of our being together, our recognizing our functions and working from within our functions to further the purposes of the party. The factions, so-called. I work with all of you regardless of what people say about factions. To hell with factions, I have said. The party knows nothing that is a faction. Our constitution made our factions. Mune organs of the party. Mune organs a party. But you will find people wanting to divide the party. And recently, there have been quite a number of instances by outsiders even, thinking the party is divided, demonstrating and appealing naturally for persons from within the party to join them. And I'm glad they have been shown that our party is not that stupid. Vana mawarire unoya chijamba, kujambira ukoko, nokuti kwaita kanyaya ku Bite Bridge, kokuti vamwe vakanga vachidemonstrata ikoko nekurambidzwa kwavakaitwa kuunza muno munyika zvatinogona kuwana muno, nokuti zvinokanganisawo vashandi vedu. Mawariro wakabva nekupi? Zvinoaifunga kuti vanhu vachauya mirwi vachibva nomupati mese vakanyara. Ndokubva atiza hoyo takazonzwa kuti akuAmerica. Ambonga achiiteko amene zvinonzi akanga ari pasta, kana ndipasta nanhasi wakambofunda kana akamboenda kuchechi yaanonzi Dishel. Vakaedza tiri kuUnited Nations, hatina ina nombovaona, ndaingangonzwa chete kuti kwanga kuine vakaunzwa first day 19 vakauya kuzodemonstrate. But vakoma group yedu December 12, They did well. Takazotaura navo December 12 vamwe vakati zvingatifadzewo ingatagara nemi kuti vamwe vedu vangade kupiwawo land kumusha vauye kuzogara tikati zvakanaka, tipei mazita. Saka vachatipawo mazita evamwe vavo. Those are dependable people. So let's remain this tight and not allow these outsiders to penetrate us. Mapataya, if parties there are, Banana Mai Mjuru, Banana Zapu, Yana Tumiso, Banana Mtuakazi, Banana Welshman Niwe, Banana Biti, vanoramba vachingodimuka kudaro vachiita zvipisi sechimuka chiye chinonzi chimamibha chinoita segmentation. Coalition dzavanonzonda kuita. But the outsiders, and this is what you must take care of, the outsiders will not stop their attempts, their efforts to undermine our unity. They won't stop. They will look at various ways diplomats vanotipindira nenyaya yekudanya mari yekuorganiza kana mari chayo yekushandisa kudya vachiita invite. When diplomats invite our people, individuals, vachivafurira kuti you must do this and you do that. Quite often we get the stories that so and so and so and so was invited. Nema Americans, Nema British. We have stood firm. Let's stand, continue to stand firm, as firmly as we have done before. I say thank you once again for your inviting us. We are united at the top. Whatever the people might say, we just ignore and continue to do our work. Lots of things have been said about my VPs, but we have said, come on, ignore them. Let's work. Do our work and ignore. Serve the people, that's all. And that's it. Do the same in your constituencies. unite the people at the grassroots. You have, I'm sure, a lot to do at those levels. This agricultural season, we are coming to all parts of the country, all provinces, I dare say to all districts even, in a very thrustful way. We want to produce with a vengeance enough food for the country. It's command agriculture. In two parts. Irrigation has been put together. Work, here are the inputs. Here is the equipment. Let us produce together. Through irrigation, the food we need for the country. Rain-fed areas where there may not be irrigation. Varukuzipira to give so much land for agriculture to produce maize, small grain, potatoes. Kuzipira imiko kana wapiwa rubatsiro. You must work on the hectareage. You will have pledged to use in order to cultivate the particular crop. Zimbabweans are not lazy people. No. And even this last year, vakazoshamiswa vachinamasa vachiti vanhu vaunza chibage chatanga tisina kutarisira kuti vanacho, nazvino vese vachiri kuudza chibage ichocho, zvichibatsira zvikurukuru zvokuti dzimwe nzvimbo dzave nechibage dzakava dzisina kurohwa nezuva. So those with stands, let the stands not be land for speculation. Kuita pure understand tomomira toda kuitengesa kwete mapiwa mastands haasi okutengesa. Vakaidzimba, build on those stands. But I suppose you can build a house if you build a house in say 1 or 2 levels, stories. and it used to have tenants tinenge zvazvako izvo, but tinenge tichida imba pasitandi ipapo yaunogara. Kana uine kumwe kwaunogara arega kubirizira uchinoda stand. No, no, no. The same with farms. You have a farm already, please don't apply for another. Especially now, tasarirwa land, ichiripo dry land, but it's not as large tracts as we used to have before. Not as many farms can be taken as from the white farmers as we had before. There are fewer white farmers left on farms. So there you are. The farming season is with us. And when the rains come, they say, yes, we have come, you come along. Will you come along? I hope you will. My Mugabe, my Sandy, and your executive, which met earlier on, continue the good work of getting the women to go this onward march of building a greater, far greater women's league than has never been seen before. There is nothing that prevents you from doing that. We will help you to do it. And use all methods of organization that you can, but talk to the people. Talk to the people